You're welcome. See you. Come back soon.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Earlier this year, we took our first trip to Cancun and we stayed at Garza Blanca Cancun. Now, this was very intentional. We did not want to stay right in the middle of the hotel zone. We wanted something that was kind of set back and just quiet and peaceful. And that's exactly what we got at Garza Blanca Cancun. But our resort was nowhere close to the iconic Cancun sign, which was on my checklist of things to do. Before we left Cancun, I wanted to stop and get some pictures and video of this iconic sign. So as we were getting ready to leave the resort, I tried to let our driver know that we wanted to stop by the Cancun sign, but I wasn't sure if he understood what I was getting at. His English just didn't seem as fluent as the staff that we had dealt with at the resort. He mentioned something about going through downtown Cancun, and I thought this was really odd, but then kind of second guessed myself because maybe he knew a shortcut or something that I didn't know about. But lesson learned. As it turns out, the route that our driver chose to take, we did not get to see the iconic sign that we wanted to see. If you want to make sure that you get to see this sign and grab those pictures, make sure that your driver takes the route that is on the highway that goes kind of around Cancun and not through downtown Cancun. We missed out on what would have been a beautiful drive from our resort to the airport, but on the flip side of it, it really did give me a true appreciation for just how remote and beautiful our resort was. Along the way, I actually saw quite a few of the resorts that I saw that had come up in my research, and it also made me very glad that we chose the resort that we did. As we drove through, we saw quite the mixture of buildings and areas where you might see basically just a crumbled pile right next to where a brand new building was being built. And then you'd have areas that were very obviously poor right next to areas that weren't so poor. So it was just kind of surprising to see like such a mixture intermingling and not like a gradual change in the areas we were seeing. So all of that being said, as you follow us along our route from our resort to the airport, I'm going to share some observations, tips, and information about getting in and out of Cancun. The first thing I'm going to tell you is not to expect a happy welcoming party when you first get into Mexico. The security and the other staff that were around just really seemed unhappy, angry, and sometimes just downright mean. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. I know what is needed to get into Mexico, what kind of documentation and such. And one of those things is what they call an FMMD. And this is something that you register for ahead of time before getting to Mexico. And then when you get there, you're supposed to check in and let them know that you're there. You also have to pay what they call a visit tax, which is a tax that you have to pay to visit their country. And it is like their eco tax. It's what they use to recover from damages from all of the tourism. Sometimes they will stop you at the airport and ask you to show proof that you have paid this tax. And if you haven't, you can get in a lot of trouble and even pay a fine. Now, this is embarrassing to admit, and this is what I meant when I said I'm going to be honest with you. I was so caught up in our new environment and just checking everything out that before I knew it, it was our turn to get up to the front of the line and check in, show our passports and all of that. Well, because I was so caught off guard and it was suddenly our turn before I knew it, I was left scrambling looking for those things to show them that, hey, yes, we've registered and we've paid our tax and all of that. But on the desk, there was a folded piece of paper kind of sat in a triangle that said something about a pass. And when I tried to show the lady what I had for what we'd registered and all of that for, she suddenly got really angry and literally started smacking this piece of paper with her pen over and over and just being very animated with her actions. And I just could not understand what she was getting at. And she didn't speak English, or at least she didn't speak English to us. And all of a sudden, she just yells at us and tells us to go away, basically. That was pretty obvious, even though it wasn't in English. So at this point, we were just really trying to figure out what it was that she had been looking for. Almost everybody in the line had pretty much gone through. And we saw one of the staff standing there. And so we stopped and asked him if he knew what it was that she was looking for, because we were just trying to figure it out. He said he wasn't sure, that he would have to go ask her. And he pointed off in a direction where she was at in an office. And then he just disappeared. And then fortunately for us, one of the other staff at a different desk, she said, come on over. And she explained to us what it was. And of course, we had to show our passports. But the thing that the other lady had been looking for was just simply our boarding pass from the airplane. So lo and behold, that's all it was. I was just so focused on the FMMD and the visa tax that it didn't even occur to me that it was something as simple as the boarding pass. So embarrassing. Yeah, I know. So just know that when you first get into the country, there's going to be 4 key pieces here. One is you should have already registered for your FMMD. And then once you get into the country, you just log into your account and say, hey, I'm here, just finish out that registration. And then the other 3 things are, of course, you're going to need your passport, and you may need your proof of payment on your visa tax. They may or may not ask you for that. And then you'll need to be able to show your boarding pass when you get up to the desk. The other thing is the airport. When you first get into the country, the area of the airport that you are in is night and day from the area of the airport when you were leaving the country. When you first get there, everything is just old and kind of beaten up, kind of grungy. Once you get past security, it gets a little bit nicer, but I mean, nothing really super impressive. Now, the other side of the airport when you go to leave is super nice. It's really big. There's tons of really nice shopping and restaurants, because of course they want you to spend a bunch more money before you leave the country. This next part of the video is actually where I believe the driver is talking about the sign, or at least what he thinks is a sign, but clearly he did not know what I was talking about when I mentioned sign.
It's not on the road. Actually, it's older song. The Song Hotel. Do you know the Song Hotel?
No.
No. So it's a different area, and we're going now to the downtown Cancun. It's not near, it's a different area. It's not on the road. Okay? Yes, yes. Down the road is like a 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. No, like 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes, but we're going to the downtown Cancun.
Another tip I will give you is that when you are leaving the airport and you go through security, they will tell you to empty everything out. We literally thought they just meant everything out of our pockets and into the bins, and of course our bags into the bins. This is not what they meant. As I got to the end of the line, they stopped me, pulled my bag, and at this point, I didn't really know what they wanted because none of them were speaking English to us. And eventually what we figured out was they wanted me to empty out my entire bag. I was carrying all of the electronics that we had. So my husband and son didn't have anything in their bags that they cared about, but mine, they did. So basically I just had to take every electronic out of my bag and place it separately in a bin. So when they say all electronics, all phones out, they don't just mean out of your pockets. They mean literally out of your bag and put separately in one of those bins. Going back to when you first arrive at the airport in Mexico, hopefully at this point you have pre-arranged transportation with a reputable company to help you get from the airport to your resort, and that being one that has easy communication and is easy to identify. During the process that delayed us with what we were trying to figure everything out, we were in regular communication with our driver, and he was very patient with us and waited for us to arrive out in the area where he could grab us and get us into the car. Now, that being said, one thing you want to be very, very careful of is there is going to be a lot of people out there trying to get you to take their transportation, and some of them even claiming to be who you reserved. So make sure you know what your driver's going to be wearing, and ideally they're going to have some kind of marker, whether it is a tablet or a piece of paper, something with your name on it to identify themselves as your driver. One last tip I'm going to give you before I let you go and just watch the rest of this video with our journey from our resort to the airport is this. As an overall piece of advice, when it comes to tipping, while you can use a card to do much, if not all of your tipping, as with in the US, cash is always appreciated when it comes to tips. To add to this, I want to bring up the point of, as far as the all-inclusive resorts go, not necessarily just the transportation, but just directly talking about the all-inclusive, is that some choose not to tip at an all-inclusive resort because the way they look at it is everything's all included. And technically they're right, but personally, I prefer to tip extra even though it is an all-inclusive, just because I feel like that's the kind and generous thing to do, especially when you receive really good service. One last thing in regards to tips, which is I get asked, should you bring American cash? Is that good enough? Or should you convert it over to pesos? While we were there, we had two butlers that just provided excellent service. And one of the things that I loved about them was, yes, they knew I was a travel agent. And I did ask a lot of questions about how to approach things or handle certain things. And they were very transparent and honest with us, which I really appreciated. So we asked the question, is it okay to just tip in American dollars? Is that preferred, or was it preferred that money was converted over to pesos? And so what they told us was that yes, obviously anybody was going to be happy to get the tips, whether it was in American cash or pesos, but that it actually was really appreciated if the money was flipped over to being pesos before it was tipped out. You'll also want to make sure that you know what the current exchange rate is. At the time of this video, it is $1 American dollar to 18.44 pesos. Now, when you're talking about the cost of things, it can be literally in the thousands of pesos, but don't get sticker shock and just remember that it takes a lot more of the pesos to make up the smaller numbers of the American dollar. And also, by the way, this is one more inexpensive memento that you can take home for yourself. So stop in and grab a few extra pesos and bring those home with you. I know I got a few of them and I keep them just as a keepsake from our trip. That's all I have for now, but if you want to see what the rest of Cancun looked like on our drive from the resort to the airport, keep watching. And if you like this video, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more.
So do they have speed limits here? Speed limit? No.
Oh yeah, yeah. The downtown is like 16, only 16, but the freeway like 110.
I don't see many stoplights. Do you have stoplights?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's just really interesting to see how other cultures do things.
Yeah, yeah. So, in a store, it's okay. What do you need?
No, I'm good.
It's okay or no? We okay?
No, I don't need nothing.
Oh, sorry, I don't listen to you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, see, like there's the lights up there. We've been at a few lights
Oh.
driving. Walmart is everywhere. Take his helmet. Almost looks like the corner of Gallenberg. sad because he's not here with you. He doesn't like it. Well, I feel like we're leaving in the nick of time with the rain coming in. There's a Sears. Another Starbucks. Look, there's another Walmart. Logan, are you ready to go home? You still have a sticker on your hat.
Is it gate 3?
They are not messing around with this traffic around here. So this is interesting. They pull up into a parking spot where in the US you're in like a pull through. So this is interesting. That would make it a pain to get out. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you need help planning your all-inclusive vacation, you can get started by visiting us on the web at dreamversetravel.com.